to draft this notch collar waistcoat, the first you have to do is to come in from your center front by 5.5 inches. Yeah, I made use of 5.5. Then for the up of your pattern, you come down by 6 inches. This 6 inches is for the drafting of the collar, because we're drafting the collar together with the pattern. Then this 5.5 inches I came here is for the button allowance with the lapel. So after doing that, now the next you do is to get the width of your neckline. So for the width of my neckline, I'll make use of 3 inches for the width of the neckline for the front. Then I'll come down by 3 inches also for the depth of my neckline for the front. We are making use of 3 by 3 inches. Before you connect your front neckline, we will be drafting the back neckline on the same pattern. So for the back neckline, we maintain the 3 inches for the width of the neckline. Then we'll come down by 1 inches for the depth of the back neckline. This is for the back neckline, while this is the front neckline. So now first you connect the back neckline this way. So after you connect your back neckline, now you connect the front neckline also. So now the next we do now is to drop down the shoulder measurement. So the shoulder measurement I'm working with is 14. 14 divided by 2 will give me 7 inches. Then I will add half inches for ease. That is 7.5. Then I came down by 1 inches for the shoulder slope. This 1 inches, you connect it down to the width of your neckline. Okay, so after doing this now, you have to get your chest line. You divide your bust by 6 plus 1.5. So after doing that, I have 7 inches for my chest line. And I'll connect it down. You come down from your 1 inches and mark your chest line. Mine is 7 inches. I'll check what I have from the startup line. I have 8.25. Then I will square this up on the center front. After getting the chest line, now the next you do is to get from your shoulder to bust point. Shoulder to bust point I'm working with is 10 inches here. Then after doing that, you get shoulder to the under bust. Shoulder to under bust, we're working with 13 inches. Then shoulder to waist is 16 inches. Now we get the length of the waistcoat. So for the length of my waistcoat, I'll make use of 20 inches. Then the remaining inches here, I will use it as the turning allowance for the hem of my waistcoat. So now connect these lines together. So after connecting my lines together, now the next you do is to label your pattern. Here we have the chest line, bust point. Yeah, this is the half inches for the hemming of the down of the waistcoat. Now the next you do is to put down your shoulder measurement on your chest line, which is 7.5 here. So now connect to the straight line. So after connecting, now the next you do is to pull down your nipple to nipple points. So for the nipple to nipple point I'm working with is 4 inches. On my bust point line, I'll put down 4 inches. Then I'll put this 4 inches down to the hem of the waistcoat. Now you connect the straight line this way. So after connecting, now the next you do is to divide what you have on your shoulder. You check what you have this way, down here, and you divide by 2. So now connect it down to the bust point. This is it. Okay, so now after connecting, now you open up your darts. So on the under bust here, I'll open up my dart by half inches. Here on the side of the front, half inches. I'll come on the center front also and mark half inches. But when you're drafting for a plus size, you can use 1 inches to open up your dart. Then on the waist also, I'll open up my dart by half inches here. Now connect these half inches together from the under bust down to the waist with a straight line. Then I'll do the same thing here also. So after doing this now, the next you do is to connect like this. Connect this other side this way, just to your nipple to nipple points, down this way. Then after doing that now, you connect your darts down to the hem of your waistcoat. Then you do the same thing here. to not get to the hem of the jacket. Now the next you do is to drop down your round measurement. The bust I'm working with is 38 divided by 4 will give me 9 inches here. This is 9 inches here. Then I'll add 1 inches for seam allowance on my pattern. Then on the bust point also, you check what you have on your chest line. We have 10.25. You bring it down on your bust point here. Then now the next you do is to drop down your waist measurement on this line here. So the waist I'm working with is 31. 31 divided by 4 will give me 7.75. So here on my waist, I'll put down 7.75. Then I'll check what I have on my darts. Here I have 1 inches. I'll add it back first. Then I'll add 1 inches for seam allowance. Then I will bring this measurement we have on the waist down to the under bust here, which is 10.25. Then now we have to work on the upper hip. Now you divide what you have on your upper hip by 4. For my upper hip, I have 38. 38 divided by 4 will give me 9.5 here. Then 1 inches for seam allowance. Connect from your chest line to your bust point. Then you connect to the under bust like this down to the waist. Then you connect to the top length this way down. So this is it. After doing this, now we have to work on the button allowance. So for the button allowance, I'll come here out by 1 inches. My button allowance, I want to make use of 1 inches. I'll mark this 1 inches down to the hem of my shirt. I'll connect my button allowance together. So after connecting your button allowance, now you have to get where you want your break point to be. So for my break point, I will make use of 9 inches. I'll come down from the startup line by 9 inches from my break point and mark. So I'll just connect this down to the button allowance here. So after doing this now, when you have gotten your break point, you just roll a straight line from the neck, your width of your neckline here. We have 3 inches. You just connect it down this way. So after doing this now, you check what you have on your back neckline. So for the back neckline here, I have 3.5. From your shoulder measurement here, you come up by 3.5 and mark. So now you connect this line up this way. To meet that 3.5, you mark here. Okay, this is it. After doing this now, the next you do is to come out by ½ inches. This way, your collar will sit perfectly on your neckline. This ½ inches line back this way. So now this is the new collar. We are not making use of this anymore. After getting that, now you have to get the width of your collar. So you check first if we still have 3.5 here. Here we have 3.5. Now you check what you want to use for your collar. The width of my collar, I want the width of my collar to be 4 inches. So you can see where I place my tape. So I will mark 4 inches here. You connect with a slant line, not a straight line. You can see where I place my ruler. This is how you connect your collar. So after getting this now, the next you do, you come out from the width of your neckline by 2.5 and you mark this line this way. Then you connect it down to your break point like this. So after connecting to your break point, now you come here in by 1.5 inches here. After coming out by 1.5 inches from your center front here, you know the first thing we did is to mark 2.5 inches. Then you connect it down to your break point. Now the next you do is to mark 1.5 inches here and you come out by 1 inches like this. So now connect this like a slant line, not the straight line, this way. So now after doing this, now the next you do is to connect your collar to this 1 inches we came out like this. Okay. So this is the collar. Before you cut out, you have to shape in the hem of your waistcoat. You come up by 1.5 inches and you connect it down to the front this way, your center front this way. So now after shaping the hem of your jacket, the next you have to do is to get the halter neck. Connect your ruler this way down to your chest line and mark from your shoulder here. You connect down this way. So now this is the armhole we're working with. So now we'll cut out. So I'm through with the cutting out of the collar. Now before you cut out the side, you have to open up a dart on this side by 1/2 inches here and 1/2 inches here also. So now connect it down like this. So after connecting your darts, now you cut out. So I'm through with the cutting. Now the next you do, you come down from this your center front here by 1 inches here and mark. So you just cut it out because you can see now the center front is longer than the side front. So in order to do now, you just cut this out a bit. By the time we cut these patterns on the fabric, and when you are sewing it, you notice the center front is still longer than the side front. You just trim it out. So now this is the front pattern, this is the center front, then the side front, then this is the collar. So now we'll keep this aside so we'll cut out the back pattern. This is the pattern paper we used to cut out the back pattern. This line here serves as my center back. When you want to cut on your fabric, you have to make your fabric to be on fold, but here my pattern paper is not on fold, so that's why I came in by 1 inches for this center back. Then I came down here. This line here is the shoulder line, like the startup line. This is the guide for my center back. Now the next you do is to come down from your shoulder line by your chest line. This is 8.25 for the chest line. After doing that, now you get from your shoulder down to bust point, which is 10 inches. After getting your shoulder to bust point, you keep your tape pull there and continue with shoulder to under the bust, then shoulder to waist, which is 16 inches. Then the length of the waistcoat, which is 20 inches. Then we added 0.75 for folding allowance, as in that you used to turn your lining with the main fabric. So now connect these lines together. So now after connecting the lines together, now you just come from your chest line by 1/2 inches here, as in this will be for the turning allowance, 1/2 inches. So now we'll cut this side out, we don't need it. Okay, so this is what we are working with. Now the next you do is to get your nipple to nipple point. So for the front, we made use of 4 inches. We do the same 4 inches also here. So you come in from your center back by 4 inches. And you mark this 4 inches down to the hem of your top. So on the waist now, we open up your darts by 1/2 inches here. 1/2 inches on your waist. You mark 1/2 inches. Then you come also on your center back also here and mark 1/2 inches. Now connect this 1/2 inches down to the chest line this way. Repeat the same thing here also. So now you connect it down to the hem of your top this way. So now after connecting your darts, the next you have to do is to divide the bust by 4. The bust I'm working with is 36. 36 divided by 4 will give me 9 inches. Here, you drop it on your chest line, then you add 1 inch for seam allowance. Then you bring the same thing down to the bust point. Now you divide your waist by 4 also. The waist I'm working with is 31. 31 divided by 4 will give me 7.75 here. then you add 1 inches, which is the dart intake. You add it back, then you add your seam allowance 1 inches, and you check what you have here. We have 10 inches. You bring it on your underbust this way. The underbust and the waist is the same thing. Now on the top length, you divide your upper hip by 4. The upper hip I'm working with is 38 divided by 4 is 9.5 inches here. Then you add 1 inches for seam allowance. So now connect from the chest line down to the bust points on a straight line. Then from the bust point down to the waist. Then from the waist down to the hip. So now on the hem of the back length, you come up by 1.5 inches. Now you connect it back to the center back this way. So now cut this out. So now your fabric has to be on fold. This is the center back. Then the side back. Okay, now cut this on my fabric. I'll cut the back pattern and the front pattern on my fabric. I'm through cutting on the fabric. Now this is the collar. For your collar, you have to cut 2 pieces. Here we have 1, 2. So we have 2 pieces, the lining and the main fabric. This is the collar, and this is the center front of the shirt. This is the back. When you want to cut your back, make sure your back is on fold. Because of the fabric I have, this is not on fold, so I'll be joining this together, but my lining is on fold. Make sure your fabric is on fold. Then this is the side back, and this is the lining. Now this is the side front, and the side front, you know, we've added the seam allowance on the pattern already, so I just add seam allowance on the side of my front. I'll be dropping the sewing video soon. Please do where to like and share this video with your sew friends. See you on the next one.